Hey, Anthony here from West Coast Custom, the best in the West. Today's video will be in Santa Ana, California. It's the side of a house, a pretty good run, and a patio in the back. This was already demoed when we got out here, so we were just setting it all up. It had limited elevations. The most we could get out of this was 1% fall with it, but with the elevations and with the push with the rain and the water all come out pretty good. Um, this guy's name was Anthony, where I worked at his house. He found me off YouTube. So we're setting it up. Here's the patio here. It was already demoed out when we came out. We had to do some light grading and moved a little dirt. And the neighbor next door here had an artificial turf, and he just didn't want a arbitrary concrete line against his turf. So we put a curb in it, and then he had like these stepping stone bricks we put behind it in between after we were done with just dirt. Once we stripped the form, because I always strip the forms the same day, but this curb you have to because you have to face it. So we put the bricks in. You'll see at the end. It looked pretty good. I got about 5 more videos I got to edit coming up. I got some good stuff coming. Here's Javier setting everything up. Milton's tying all the steel. We just put 24 on center. This came to about exactly one load. This is about 10 yards. But 90% of it has to be crawled up the side of the house because there's no access. There's this little pad out front and then the patio, this patio you can have access to, but the whole side of it's got to be crawled on sliders and then broomed. We broomed it in sequence, one way, then the next square the next way. We just switched them down here up this hallway. Most guys just do it long way, but it defeats the purpose of the traction for the slip resistant broom. You got to get up on the wall and do it. You can do it on sliders too. Here's my pump here. Just brought it up to get it set up. It was a hot day, man. Once the sun came out, the side of that house was sweltering. And we only had 3 guys crawling it. We probably should have had 4. I wanted to bring 4. Javier said 3 would do it, but probably in hindsight we should have had another guy on this because there's a lot of joints off every corner. There's a bunch of corners of the house. This room addition that sticks out back here, there's another joint coming off each wall there. So I'm just setting this up here. It doesn't matter what slump. You don't want it too dry on the side of that house, but there's no wind and it was kind of humid out too, so it's gonna take off on the side here. You gotta stay on top of it. You basically have to stay out there on the sliders almost the whole time. As soon as you can get out there, you're not coming out till you skate it down twice. So I'm just setting the hose up here to pump it down. I'm waiting for the concrete. It's about 6:30 in the morning, 6:15. We had a 7 o'clock concrete. Stretching out for the job here. So I'm just setting this up and truck should be here any minute. We'll get rolling on this. Here comes the sun. You can see it peeking in the back. It was super hot on the side here. And plus with the no fly ash, the way I pour it, it takes off a lot more quicker. Here's Greg Johnson delivering the concrete. I actually went to high school with him. I'll be doing his house next week. He's got about 20 yards, driveway, walkway, RV. There's a slump we're using. Everyone wants to argue with me what slump it is, so won't even say what it is. I don't know. I'll call it a 6. What do I know? I've only been pumping for 20 years. Here we go here. We just went to the existing weep screed, the top of the weep screed on the house. That's where we got our elevation off that. Javier marked it, but he didn't snap a chalk line. So we just went off the weep screed. You just put about a 2-foot wet screed perpendicular from the house, and they can get about 2 feet off of it. And then you turn and burn the other way, and you have your elevation off that side, and you go off the form. That's why you can stick with the grades that you have if you screed or rod it the correct way. You know, it's not these bozos do on here with this wet pad and this crap that they're showing on YouTube is just total horseshit. This is how you get the elevations down right. Javier both floating this out. I never seen this guy who he called out here. He just calls a network of guys he knows and they'll send who's ever available. He did a good job. He got down with us. It's slow going in between when you're locked in like that with both sides of the wall and the house. It's so tight in there, and you got like 4 men in there, and the areas are tight. So you got to bull float it as you go. So you pump about 10, maybe 15 feet back, bull float it, pump again, stop, let them bull float it, get the screeds off the house first, like I was saying, to get the elevations, then come the other way, rot it back 10, 15 feet, bull float it, because there's no other way you can get in there to bull float it. You got to put a bull float in it to compact it and get it laid down the way you want it to before you get out there. You got to do it in every stage. So Javier is just hitting this bull float here. Like I was saying, we got 1% from the back to the front, but then when it hits the gate, then it's got fall, then it's trucking, the water's trucking out with push. And if there was a problem, he could put rain gutters, but it's fine. He put this in for his dogs to bring him. He had some big dogs to bring in and out to the side gate, and they don't track mud and dirt in the house. We got 3 guys, like I was saying. We could have probably used 4, but it was just jammed it up. So it's a hard call. Javier and I usually never talk about work. We'll look at the job, or I'll say it's this or that, and he'll say, you want to do it this way, or I'll say let's do it that way, and that's about the end of our conversation with work. We're usually just joking around or talking about something else, but generally never the job. I can just look at him, or he can look at me, and we know exactly what we're doing. Same with the other boys, Milton, everyone else. Everyone's got their routine down. It's like a fine oiled machine the way we run it. That's why I wanted to give a depiction of what a real contractor looks like. That's why I started doing these videos, because I somehow ran across some other concrete videos which I never look up, and I almost couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I just couldn't let that go on my watch. I got to revisit Nick's video, really cool one of that bench and those diamond grooves. I went and refilmed it. It's gonna be a bitchin' video. I'll be putting it up next week. So we're finishing rodding this up, and I was a hose puller on the pumper today. I didn't bring anyone to pull the hose, so I just did it basically by myself. I'm just gonna wash it out. It's just about a load. There's a Sicilian stallion with his shirt off. So we're washing the pump out here, and we'll be hanging out all day, watching the boys finish and cut the joints. This joint pattern matches the existing patio on the other side. We just followed it. It had this band on it already. Here's the curb here. When the sun comes around the corner and fully hits this right here, this stuff really takes off. It's a 3000 straight cement, no fly ash, so you don't really need to put any accelerants or nothing. Even in the winter, it takes off pretty good, almost like it has some heat in it, but it doesn't. So we got a guy out back, we got one out front, and then Javier pretty much handled the whole middle. Here he is here. He's like the grand master. And here's the joint patterns where we cut them. We went off every corner each way, because guarantee it's going to crack off the corner. I mean, even when you put a joint, I've seen it go the other way off of it. It's crazy, but there's not much you can do. Just hope that it goes in the crack. And generally, I've been getting lucky with the corners. It's been going in the crack. So I hope this continues my streak. We're brooming the band, and then Javier's brooming it one way, and then the next corner the other way, and we're just switching them. Looks better. This came out beautiful. But either get on the wall and do it the other way, or the way he did it out there, standing out there, and just retrowel and skate and broom it as you're coming out's the way to go. And this stuff hardened really quick, and it really tightened up, so it was no problem. And up a hallway like that, you're gonna have to deal with that every time. Here's the finished product here. There's the little bricks we put in for the neighbor. We just put them in between the turf and the fake grout in the concrete. There it is. There's the best in the West again. Another perfect job. Thank you very much for watching the best in the West.